Now, one of the nice things about Lizzie is that it's keeping up with what all needs to be done, irrespective of who created the invoice or who needs to ship the product. Lizzie is kind of maintaining control over where things are and where they're supposed to be. So when an internet order comes in and there are parts that are in our inventory that need to be pulled so that they can be shipped to a particular customer, Lizzie puts those on what we call an in-stock pull request. And in order for you to process that in-stock pull request, you're just going to go to inventory, process items, and then you're going to select the process in-stock items control. When this opens, there's four different types, four different categories of parts that you may need to deal with. The last two are for returns and for canceled items that were on web stores where you pulled parts but then the customer canceled before you shipped. And then we have location transfers that you'll only deal with if you're in a multi-location environment where you have a warehouse and a dealership, for example. And we have the items to pull, and this is where all of our internet orders or even our service orders where the service department has requested parts and we're using the parts department to work with them, you're going to go to this same control to deal with all of that. Now right now you can see that we have one item that needs to be pulled at the moment. So to pull that item, all we're going to do is pull next bin. You'll also notice while we're here that we could force it to pull a particular customer by locating a contact record first and then telling it that we wanted to locate or we wanted to pull that particular customer. We have a bin location that Lizzie has assigned to that particular customer. And if you remember from our videos on how to set up the customer bins, it has assigned an internet bin number 4 to this customer. So every part that we pull or every part that we order for this particular shipment is the system's going to tell you to put them all in internet bin 4. And then once all of the parts arrive in that bin will then show up on your ship screen to ship out of the system. Now, to put parts or to assign the quantities that we're pulling, we can either scan the part, and at which point Lizzie will actually print a barcode label for us as we're scanning to put on the part. Again, a color-coded barcode label. It'll be a black label with white text in this case, and it will automatically increase this quantity down here. Now, if I don't have a barcode on the part and I want to manually do this, all I've got to do is come down here and select this option, or I can manually type in the quantity. Once we have everything selected and we've selected the bin that we want to pull that part from, then all we're going to do is tell it to pull the item. Now you'll also notice that this thing is telling us that it says to order the item instead of pulling it. So in the event that I have let's say I've got 4 parts in stock and this is a really fast moving part and I don't really want to I don't really want to pull this part for an internet order. I'd rather just have them order the part. I can click this button and it'll actually cancel the pull and put it over onto an invoice to order. So you do have quite a bit of control here when you're pulling these items, but the primary thing I'm interested in is the fact that I need to go put this in internet bin 4 and I'm going to pull one part. The last thing I want to mention is up here in this little section, we have a lock icon. If I decide I don't want to pull this part, I'm going to go to lunch instead. I can unlock the bin from me and it'll put it back in the active pile for someone else to pull it. We have the ability here to skip this bin and go to the next bin. If for some reason I don't want to do this particular item right now, I can skip it. We can edit the bin itself to move this item to a different bin location. And then lastly, we can tell it to move it to an oversized bin where the part won't fit in a normal bin or a bag, and I want to move it to a bigger location. We can tell Lizzie to change this from internet bin 4 to an oversized bin, and it'll pull another bin ID for us. Once we get that information selected, we're just going to tell it to pull the items, and then you'll notice that the system will go out, pull the items, and we now have no items to pull. So we've basically taken that part, put it in the internet bin it said to put it in, and now we're good to go. So in this particular department, other than needing to process canceled items, we're good to go and are ready to wait on the next order to come in so that we can go pull the items for it.